Well, I think this is working. Live stream of the bench cleaning. Um, Here we go. Can you guys hear me? Hello. Wow, Italy and Poland. Cool. Well, welcome everybody. It's definitely been too long since this bench has been cleaned, as you guys can see. I think I need a drill bit sharpener. What do you guys think? And I apologize if this is terribly boring, but this is more of a live stream test, just to see how it goes. I'm glad I can make some people feel better about their bench tidiness. It's kind of tricky for me to see these comments because I'm on my phone and the screen is facing away from me, so I have to keep glancing over at it. But if you guys ask questions, I'll try to see them and answer them. It's no wonder I can't find some of my tools. Safety glasses and hearing protection to clean the lathe? Not currently. I don't think anything's gonna jump out at me though. Nobody commented on my comically large ruler that I made for the machining, or I forget what I called it, machining tiny parts or something. I thought that would have been funny. here's the drill bit that untwisted. Little machine shop trophy, I guess. How long has it been since I cleaned this work area? Uh, Probably the teardown video, which was not terribly long after I got this lathe, so probably most of a year ago. And then as far as would I recommend this lathe? I would. So obviously it can make some cool things. Here's the hammer that I made. I think it turned out pretty well. I've used it a little bit. So with some patience, you can make some cool stuff. You do need to go through everything, take it all apart, make sure everything that should be greased is greased, make sure everything's tight, make sure everything that should have a bolt has a bolt. I would highly recommend making one of these chip trays. That keeps a lot of the stuff, a lot of the chips out of this feed screw, and then there's a gear behind the, I guess, carriage handle that is, it's totally exposed, so chips can fall in there and jam it up. So I would definitely recommend the chip tray. I think it's a good learning experience. I think if you have experience with a lathe, this might lead to frustration. If you're used to a big lathe, you might just be better off getting a big lathe or a quality lathe, maybe. I don't know what the right word to use is, but yeah, this is a great learning experience, and it's small, so it's manageable in size. It's not a huge space investment, and that's one of the reasons why I got it. And it's not quite it's not very powerful, and I think that's a benefit, especially when starting out, because it's a little bit more forgiving. It'll tend to stall before it really does too much damage. If you're taking too deep a cut, or I don't know, something gets jammed up. So I like those features about it. Oops. Uh, Improve the precision as much as you can. I think I don't disagree with that. I think there's some areas that don't necessarily matter for the most part. Um, it's I found this lathe to be surprisingly precise. I think I've been more lazy on uh, my measurements and less patient on getting the exact measurements than I could be. So if I was if I were to take the extra time and effort and patience to really make sure that I'm achieving the tolerances that I would want or that I would need, um, I think you could do some pretty precise stuff with this lathe. I just haven't really had the need to make anything super precise, so I just haven't bothered too much. The other problem with having a dirty bench like this is sometimes you break a drill bit and then you just take it out and put it down and put a new drill bit in, and then it's hard to tell if the drill bits you're finding are actually any good or not. So if you break a drill bit, just go ahead and throw it in the garbage. I wish I made enough chips to warrant recycling them, but I really don't think I do. And I don't really want to save them up for as long as it would take to have enough. I don't know if there's anything else you can do with them. Here's the old handle to replacing this tailstock lock grip. This was definitely worth doing. Cool. Little chip ring. Okay, I think I'm down to just chips here. a shop tour? I can do a shop tour maybe toward the end. I can at least give a sneak preview to the next project. I don't know how it looks on my videos, but I don't have, the shop's not really that big or impressive. Hence getting the little lathe in the first place. From Iraq. Cool. Hey. Oh, this is a neat little thing that I made. So this is an adapter. Is adapter the right word? If you want to drill a hole in the exact center of a piece of round stock, you can make an adapter like this that the hole in the middle fits the round stock, slides over it, and then it has a hole in the top. And then that way, if you drill through that hole in the top, it'll put a hole directly through the middle of the round stock. So that's just kind of a neat little jig that you guys can make if you ever have the need for it. I need somewhere to put these chips. Cool. I'm surprised nobody else does any live stuff. I think, well, I don't know if DeResta does any live streams like this, but I'm glad you guys are liking it, and hopefully I can do more. Maybe give a thumbs up if you'd like to see, I don't know, a live project or tutorial or something. Look at this. See, part of the problem is I don't even know what to do with this other than just throw it away. Why not just vacuum it? I think this would clog a vacuum pretty quick. Maybe the little stuff, yeah, but I don't know. It's just as easy to sweep it. A Christmas tree? Got a little time for that. What is the new object? What new object? I'm not sure. I've been at least trying to save the brass chips in case I ever figure out how to blue steel. I don't know if that'll ever happen, but I'll be ready. I don't think it's good if they're terribly mixed with other stuff either, so. Yeah. It's not worth trying to sort those out. I think I have enough brass chips already, and I already have never really blued anything successfully, so I don't know what I'm saving them for. Wow, this old Tony. I appreciate that. I got a little metal splinter. Good night in Italy. I didn't realize it was so late there, but I guess you're on the other side of the world. Where's the mini mill? Where's 25,000 subscribers? That's the real question. Invite your friends. Oh, everybody has more than 0 friends. This, where... So if you guys need, this isn't any kind of sponsored video or whatever, but if you need a dust mask, I really like this one because it's so low profile and it's just kind of comfortable to wear. So check this out. The link is at least in some of the wood lathe videos, I'm pretty sure. The unboxing, definitely. I'm not sure what just broke, but that's the kind of stuff that I usually edit out. Oh, I see what broke. That's too bad. This is the other nice thing about these little lathes, is you can just tip them over and get underneath them. Of course, the downside to that is you can just tip them over and get underneath them. How much was it? I think I paid not quite $500 for it. I found it on, the one that I have linked is on Amazon because I have the affiliate thing set up, and I think their link would be more consistent, but I actually got this one on eBay. So if you look out on eBay, you might be able to find a deal. And I actually found one where they were doing a best offer, and that's how I got it a little bit cheaper, is I made them an offer they couldn't refuse. What is my normal job besides YouTube? I wish I could consider YouTube a job. I'm a software engineer, actually. Kind of wildly different from a machinist, but it works. You can tip, yeah, you can tip over a big lathe too. Just make sure your foot's not on the other side. So this is a leftover piece from the original safety cover thing, and it broke pretty quickly. So I've had a couple ideas of what to do to make sure the truck key is not still in the truck, other than having to remember. I just haven't done them yet. It's still on the project list though. when is the homemade CNC coming? I don't know. Is it more fun to watch me do the work myself, or just turn it on and watch the computer do the work? Maybe when I get a big lathe, then I'll turn this one into a little CNC lathe. Yeah, 260,000. I think there are a couple other things on my list that I'd buy before a $260,000 lathe. I don't know. I guess it depends on how much this YouTube channel picks up. Yeah, I agree with the programming part for CNC, which actually, being a programmer, developer, that might play nicely into that. So we'll see. Right now I have too many things that I want to do and not enough time to do them all, so we'll see when the you can either afford to do it and not have the time to do it, or you have the time to do it but you can't afford to do it. It's always kind of the life predicament. So when those two things cross, then I'll start doing more stuff. Every once in a while, some of these chips come out really cool. Here's some that I saved. I thought it was too cool to throw away, but I can't think of anything to do with it. So this is my successful bluing of steel, is probably doing something wrong on the lathe. Too much time but no money, yeah. Well, the good thing with that is you can always get more money, but you can't get more time, so might as well utilize it as best you can while you have it. Too much problem for zeroing. I still have those digital readout that I need to put on here that I got for Christmas. Maybe I'll do that once all of this is clean. Well, I still have the other project that I need to do. So maybe that'll be coming up soon, since the lathe will be clean. Code Monkey, yes. Yep, that's the day job. Here's safety glasses. I think Lathe Master is a little bit generous, but I appreciate it. So the other project, I'll show a sneak preview of that at the end. But in the classic Mustang project, we need a throttle linkage that will go from the throttle pedal to the carburetor. And it'll be making the adjustable ends for each one of those. And then I think the rod is... it will be using this aluminum rod as the linkage, and then making the ends and threading it and bending it, and hopefully doing some cool stuff. It's always tough to find time to clean afterward. Especially most of the projects that I do, I end up videoing until pretty late at night. So by the time I'm done, I'm just ready to pack up and call it a night and not have to worry about cleaning. Have you ever thought about upgrading to a bigger and better lathe? Yes, definitely. The issue is mostly the space to put it. Right now, this one works. I don't have too much available floor space. But eventually, I hope to get a bigger shop. And then when I do that, I will likely get a bigger lathe. I wasn't sure how much I would like using the lathe, or how much I would even, not necessarily how much I would like using it, but how much use I would get out of it. But it seems to have been a pretty good purchase. I've gotten a lot more use out of it than I expected at this point. The size of the chuck, I think it's a 4-inch. Yeah. 4-inch chuck. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'll ever get rid of this lathe if I got a bigger lathe. I don't know. Maybe I would if I never used it. It would be tough to get rid of because I've done so many little projects on this, like these handles and, well, the chip tray. I put this sticker on it and really personalized it. Auto feed in which direction? This has auto feed in the parallel direction. Yeah, auto feed this way would be really nice. Would you be buying it from a different country other than China? So, yes, probably. I'll probably, if I got a bigger lathe, I would probably buy it locally. And I think it would be cool to get one that is in decent shape and complete, but needs maybe some mild restoration. I think that would be a cool project. So that would be, and hopefully I could get a better deal on it if it needs a little bit of work. So that would be probably what I did with a bigger lathe. Taiwan. So locally have better safety and quality control. Yes and no. I think China is very capable of creating very high quality products, and I think they do often. but they are also unregulated, probably is the right word, to the point that they can create really cheap knockoffs with no quality control, and that ends up giving them a bad name as a whole, because a lot of things come from China, and there's a lot of really high quality things, mostly around the electronics and stuff like that. And I recently went to China a few months ago, and they are so nice. Everybody there is so, so nice. So I hate to say anything bad about them. Whereabouts am I from? What part of North America? I am in the southeast part of North America, refurbishing an Atlas TH42. Very cool. I don't know what kind I would want. I think, so here's one good and bad thing about this little mini lathe, is that it has the variable speed control, and I think it has it because that was probably the cheapest and easiest thing to do for a lathe this size. But it's really, it will spoil you just being able to on the fly change the speed. And so I'd like to get maybe a 3-phase and a VFD, so I can maintain the variable speed control and I don't have to mess with, I'm not even sure what big lathes use to change the speed, changing belts or switches or whatever. Let's see. China builds to a price point. Yeah, that's very true. Not quite Florida. I'm outside the Atlanta area. Here, they are not nice. Here, people are not. Make you feel like... Eric, I'm not sure I understand your question. Belt speed change, gears for feed. Yeah, I will say that having the gears, being able to change the gears much easier, or having fixed gears that you can just change to change the feed speed would be really nice. Because this one, part of the reason why I haven't really attempted very much, or really any threading, or changed the feed speed at all for any reason, is just because it's kind of a pain. You have to take this back cover off and then take all the gears apart. And I don't know, just hasn't. Maybe it'll be really cool if I do it, and if there's enough interest, then I'll try it. But it hasn't really appealed to me. From Poland. Very cool. What is that stick on your crop? Oh, so this is, you can't even see it because of all the chips in here. I put a carriage lock down here, and this tightens and loosens it, but because I was doing this angle for that taper project, I needed the clearance, and this was getting in the way, so I just took it out. And then I just found it in all my mess and didn't want to lose it, so I stuck it in here so I won't forget about it. Is what came with it. What are you referring to? Oh, so this, it, it came with it, yes, but not here. This was, um, oh, this was the, originally on top of here to tighten the original tool holder. And since I never used this, I just used the same nut and handle and repurposed it to be my carriage lock handle. I'm glad you guys enjoy it. It is not something really smart. I don't know what's really smart. I believe this is the AXA size of quick change. Now, the reason that I got this particular one is because of the price. It was less than $40 US and came with a bunch of tool holders, but it is not very good. It's aluminum and it's definitely gotten pretty sloppy. So I'm hoping I can hit 25,000 subscribers sooner rather than later so I can get a mill and make my own. Whoa. So that thing that broke, I need to fix this, by the way. This is that speed and load display. And the battery holder broke. It looks like it should still work. No. No, it's definitely broken. Well, that needed fixing anyway. Is that a good thing that my videos put you to sleep, or a bad thing? For the home shop, yes, it is in my home. As far as not tracking chips around, I don't have a terribly good solution for that, and I do track chips around. I try not to. The benefit is that I do have to go up a staircase, and it has these little like indoor-outdoor carpet pads on it, and those tend to knock off most of the chips before I get inside. Probably not the best solution, but also my shoes that I normally wear are really worn. They're smooth on the bottom, so not many chips stick to them anyway. Looking forward to future projects. Cool, thank you. Posting about Patreon. So when I very first posted about Patreon, that was the most negative responses that I've gotten to anything that I've done, I felt like. So I have it there. I haven't been promoting it per se. I really appreciate those who do support me on there. I'd like to do more. I want to try to start doing maybe some instruction manual type books or something, ebook type things. Mostly it's been the time to put those together, but I think those would be very cool, and something that I would put on Patreon. Let's see. Try making a pen. I actually made a pen, and that was my first project. And I didn't video it because I didn't intend on making a pen, or I didn't intend on making anything. It was, I think, the first night that I got this set up and working, and I just started making chips just to see what would happen, and then kept going and kept going and kept going, and then I ended up with a pen. So it was, I think I was up till, I don't know, 3 or 4 in the morning that night making that pen. And I wish I videoed it, but I did do a video working on the pen, where I made a like pocket clip for it. So you can, if you find that video, you can see the pen. Well, I'm glad they're relaxing. I've been told I have a relaxing voice, so I guess it's true. If you started doing those ebooks, what is my normal? Are you working? So my normal day job is I'm a software engineer. I don't work in a machine shop or anywhere near a machine shop. I think that is a very cool job to have. But that is not what I'm doing as a day job. Although that said, I do really enjoy software engineering too. Uh, I have I have too many hobbies and not enough time. And let's see. I do really enjoy the software job. And I guess while you guys are on here, I was thinking, I wasn't sure what I would do for an ebook, to start out with. I was thinking making them like do a series of things and make each thing maybe like a different chapter of a larger project, and then once they're all finished, put them together and that be like the whole ebook. And then maybe the Patreon page, I would release the chapters kind of as they come out, whereas everybody else would have to wait for the book itself. I don't know. What are, if you guys have any ideas of things that you'd like to see put together kind of in more in an ebook format, then let me know. And I think the differentiating thing between doing an ebook and just making YouTube videos is I would go through and I would say, like, I'm using this tool and that tool and the other tool, kind of at the beginning, almost like a recipe where it says you need 2 eggs and a cup of flour or whatever. I would do a materials and tool list at the top. Then I would do different detailed, I don't know, pictures and descriptions of what I'm doing. Of course, a video to accompany it. But I think the videos would be a lot more. I think the videos are a lot more inspirational than they are um, instructional. Whereas the ebook would be a lot more instructional and include drawings. And the idea would be at the end of it, if you followed all the instructions, you would have the same thing that I had, only you would have made it yourself. Plans for if when you get a mill, first projects. A mill will be coming at 25,000 subscribers, so I'm waiting on you guys mostly. Also, they're kind of pricey, but that's okay. And first project, I think it would be cool. I was thinking it would be cool to maybe make another die to match the die that I made on the lathe, and I could then do a like comparison between the two dice of here's how it comes out when you make it on a lathe, here's how it comes out when you make it on a mill. I don't think I will worry about balancing either of them. I thought about doing a video where I roll it 100 times or 1,000 times or something, and see the distribution of the uh, results, just to see if it would even need balancing or if it just would be kind of naturally have the proper even distribution or not, or to see, I guess, how far off it really is, if it is weighted to one side or another. But I think that would be kind of a cool first project. Let's see. Are you interested in knives or knife making? I think it's very cool. I'm always impressed at the amount of effort and patience that knife makers have. I don't know that I quite have the setup for it, because I think it requires a lot of hardening and uh, like the blacksmithing of the knife, and I don't have the setup, and I don't know that I have a terrible desire to do it right now, but I definitely can appreciate it, and I do think it's really neat. Especially things, I don't know why, I really like when people do axes and stuff. Um, he was talking about you listening to ebooks. Make a clock? That could be fun. Cool. Programmer analyst from Canada. Think Popular Mechanics. I used to have a bunch of Popular Mechanics, or maybe it was Popular Science magazines. I need to dig those back out. Educational? Yeah, well, I think the videos and the ebooks would both be educational. They would just be, one is less instructional specific, and the other one is more inspirational. I guess you can learn something either way, but I feel like with the videos, you might see something that I do or that I do incorrectly or whatever, and you could say, oh, well, this is, oh, excuse me, this is why that doesn't work, or that's a neat trick, I'll have to try that on the next thing that I do. Whereas the ebook would be much more of, I want to learn how to fill in the blank, and then the ebook will tell you exactly how to do it, as long as I put the book together correctly. When are you going to start the van project? And I love watching a swordsmith. Yeah, I really enjoy watching the knife making and sword making videos. I definitely think it's really neat. I just don't know how much I would want to get into it myself, at least at this point. And then as far as the van goes, so the holdup with the van is that it still has the check engine light. And actually, and I feel bad I don't remember his name right now. So if you're watching, leave a comment. But somebody had contacted me, had sent me an email, and said that they were a Sprinter mechanic and would be happy to help me figure out whatever problem that I'm having is, which I think is very cool. And should they want the exposure, I'll be happy to link them in the van descriptions and whatever as well. But it has a check engine light, the same one that was in the van tour video, and I'm still trying to sort that out. Mostly it hasn't gotten fixed because of time constraints, but also because I am still not sure what to fix. So I'm trying to research that and figure out what is causing that check engine light, rather than just throw a bunch of parts at it and hope it fixes it. It's also kind of irritating because I just got it, and the dealer said it was like ready to go condition, no problems. Their mechanic checked it out, and the check engine light came on like I signed all the papers and bought it and was driving it home, and like within within 20 miles of having it, the check engine light came on. But anyway, that Sprinter mechanic recommended that I buy a particular. So the OBD2 check engine code on the Sprinter shows up as kind of a more of a generic code. It probably is required by OBD2 standards or whatever. But Mercedes has their own more detailed codes that you can only see with a Mercedes specific code reader. And so that Sprinter mechanic recommended a code reader that he uses to me, and I ordered one, and it will be here on Monday. So I don't know if there will be much, if it will be worth doing a video of doing the code reading. I don't think that is very much content. But once I do read the code, he said he'll be able to better determine what's wrong and better help me figure it out, which is great. And then whatever it is that is wrong, then I'll make a video of fixing it for sure. Kind of go through the process as well in that video. But in the meantime, that's kind of been the holdup. Also, I don't want to worry about building out the things like a bed frame and stuff like that before it's mechanically sound. I think that's going a little bit out of order. And then also, I think I showed it in the van tour video, I got that 80/20 extruded aluminum, I don't know, just whatever those extruded aluminum pieces are. And those they don't require, but it's really nice to use the connectors that go with them. But those connectors are really expensive for what they are. And the reason why I got that material in the first place was because I found a good deal on it. And the connectors are available in China for pretty cheap, which I'm totally okay with buying, but they take like 30 days to get here when you do buy them. And for some reason my payment is not getting validated properly, and so I haven't been able to buy them yet. But I need to make a call to customer service and see if I can get them to validate my payment and then get those on the way. But I have been collecting parts for it in the meantime. I do have a solar panel, the controller, I showed those in the van tour. I have some interior parts to fix the interior with. And I got a swivel seat mount. I'm only doing one, but I'm going to make the passenger seat a swivel so you can spin it around backwards and make like a little, I don't know, living room, dining room type area, using one of the front seats too. So, and I'll definitely be doing videos of another pair of safety glasses. Videos of the installation of those as well. So these things come from these tubes, and someone at some point asked me where I get the metal from, and sometimes I order it online, so it just comes like this. I think this tube actually had this piece of stainless steel in it. I have seen and read that stainless steel can be tricky to turn because it hardens as you turn it, and then it burns up your tools, I guess. So I haven't tried. I got it kind of as an experiment to try it. I don't need to do much turning on the project idea that I have for this, but I think it would be fun to try. I need a better way to cut it. I need a better way to cut this thick round stock just in general, and the best way to do that is horizontal bandsaw, and it's more of a space thing than a money thing, because Harbor Freight has them pretty cheap, or just like whatever Chinese one. Like, they're pretty easy to get. It's just I need the space to put it. but it would be really, really handy to have. So, one of these days. At least I got the stainless steel for whenever I'm ready for it. I thought that chop saw would do better, but it's a lot of work to get through round stock of any significance. Let's see. Sorry, I'm catching up on the comments. Gotta go, Tim. You would share. I actually have shared an Amazon wish list somewhere, and so there were a lot of comments about how terrible my hacksaw blades were for a while, and I eventually got new ones, but I put hacksaw blades on my wish list, and I don't know, maybe I don't promote it enough, but nobody ever goes there. I need to put it, I guess I need to put it in the description of more videos. Let's see. Japanese swordsmith, yeah, and Japanese woodworkers are incredible to watch. And that's actually, so my buddy who did the chemistry thing with the 3D printed centrifuge adapters, that most recent video, I'm sure he would be up for doing chemistry videos if there's enough interest in it too. But his main thing, he does chemistry as his day job and woodworking as his hobby, and so he just got a new set of chisels and a couple of kind of woodworking hand tools, and so he wants to start doing woodworking videos. His thing is the time part of it, but if you guys are interested in that, maybe, I don't know, throw a thumbs up on there and I'll let him know. Popular Mechanic Encyclopedia. Cool, yeah. Drifter's Workshop. Definitely send me that email. So I looked at the reviews of the dealership. So two things. It's not related to emissions because it's a diesel. So diesels don't have emissions. They have emissions. They're up until more recently, up until a newer year than what the van is. Diesel emissions weren't regulated, at least on a consumer level. So I guess while the systems were in place, I don't know that they were necessarily for emissions. And while check engine lights ultimately are emissions related, they're also emissions related because something else is going wrong. So the generic code that I can read is that the the pressure in the fuel rail is too high. And I have the Torque app with a Bluetooth OBD2 reader, and that can give you live output on your phone screen, which are very cool. It's a very cool app if you guys need something like that. And so I monitored it for about 20 miles, going uphill, downhill, stoplights, highway speed, wide open throttle, all the different situations, and it never went over what the spec was that I found online. So the Sprinter mechanic that emailed me said that even though it's sending a high pressure fault, it could also mean that it has a low pressure problem, and then that's why we need the Mercedes-Benz specific code reader to see exactly what's going on. So that's where we are there. As far as the reviews at the dealer, I did look up the reviews. Some of them are really good. I think one noisy person didn't have very nice things to say about it. I'm pretty mechanically inclined, so I went and looked at it myself and gave it my own opinion. So I probably would have gotten it regardless. And the reason why I got this one in particular, regardless of the dealership or where it was located or whatever, is because A, it was in my price range. B, it is a passenger version, so it has windows all the way around, which I really like. I wanted a passenger version. I didn't want the cargo version. I felt like that would be too closed in. And the whole point of having an adventure van is to go to cool places like the mountains or the beaches or whatever, and so you can see them. And I would hate to not be able to see that stuff from inside the van. Um, and then it's also another major thing is it's a short wheelbase with the high roof on it, which is an unusual combination to find. And I wanted the short wheelbase. A lot of people like the long wheelbase because you have so much more interior room, and that's absolutely true. I'm going to be more limited on interior space, but I hope that some creative interior designing will somewhat make up for that. Uh, but the main reason why I got the short wheelbase version or wanted the short wheelbase version is because it can fit in a regular parking spot. So I will never have a problem going, parking anywhere. Uh, so that was a big selling point to me. And then the other features that are nice about it is it has the passenger compartment air conditioning, which was just a bonus, but it also has the wheelchair lift in the back, which I don't need or really want. I don't know, I might be able to do something cool with the 12-volt hydraulics or something at some point, but um, the benefit to that is it already had the ignition isolated auxiliary power setup. So, uh, from what I've read, you don't get too much benefit out of already having that because the one from Mercedes is not really enough to run a whole house worth of stuff in a van. Um, but it will get me started, and it's already in there and it's already set up. And I don't. I think a lot of people or some people when they are building out a van or want an RV or whatever, they want an uncompromising amount of conveniences from home, like microwaves and all kinds of very stuff that we take for granted how much power it actually uses. And I want to be much more conscious of that kind of stuff. And I'm not I want to recognize that I'll be in a van. I don't want all the conveniences and have to put in a huge battery bank to support my microwaving and stuff like that. I want to recognize that I'm in a van and I'll have a propane stove and I can cook stuff on that stove. And then if I have leftovers, then I just need to find a friend to eat them or something. So it's a combination that I hadn't seen often, and that's why I went ahead and got it. The name of the dealership, uh, I'll send you a private message if you're interested. I don't want to publicly shame them. Um, have I done much research into MPPT versus PWM? I've done enough research to know the difference and that MPPT is better, but I think MPPT is better for if you have a large solar array. Um, but as you get closer to a single panel, which I only have a single panel right now, the difference is not that great. But the price difference between the two controllers is significant enough. If I'm gonna see how this one panel does, uh, and then if I need more, and then I'm also not getting the efficiency that I need, then I might go to the MPPT. But for right now, the PWM controller should work fine. Um, let's see. hello to a couple other people that joined in. Sounds like whatever sensor or fuel switch that reports fuel pressure is bad. Possibly. I did find a YouTube video of a guy that had a newer version of the Sprinter van, and that was exactly it, was that the fuel pressure sensor was no good, and so it was reporting wrong information. That may very well be the case, but again, I want to try to avoid just throwing parts at it and hoping I find one that works, and maybe at least get a little bit more of an educated guess as to what the problem is. New carriage handle. I absolutely need a new carriage handle. This one I've tightened it down probably as much as it can go without breaking it more, and it's been it's been working well enough. The biggest holdup is I need the material to make it, which is I don't want to make it any smaller because I'll have to crank it a lot more. And I was thinking I might want to do something about this closeness, maybe extend it out or do something so I don't hit the two handles. But the main thing is I think this is the largest diameter aluminum stock that I have, and it's still significantly smaller than the carriage handle. So I just need to make a trip to the metal supply store and see if they have any aluminum that's a bigger diameter. And then, yeah, I think the project would be pretty straightforward to do, and I definitely need to do it. And I know a lot of people have been interested in it. I just need to go down there and get the metal for it. Let's see. That's a good idea to disconnect the sensor. First, I'm gonna wait until tomorrow, and I'll have the Mercedes code reader, and then I'll be able to. And it's even though I keep saying Mercedes, it's a Dodge van, or it's branded as a Dodge van. But the Dodge, the Freightliner, and the Mercedes Sprinters are all kind of the same underneath the badging. Even the hood on this van, if I wanted to get a Mercedes grille, which I may end up doing because this grille is broken anyway, it would just bolt on, even though it's shaped a little bit different on the hood. So that's kind of neat. Let's see. Thanks for all the videos on this lathe. You're very welcome, Robert. After you did and following along, would have been lost without your help. I'm so glad, Sir Robert. I really appreciate it, and this is why part of why I've been keeping up this channel is comments like yours. I think that's so fantastic. Jaw tooth resurfacing went from 11 thou down to less than 1 thou. Robert, do you have a video on the jaw tooth resurfacing? I think that would be pretty cool to watch and then also repeat. Southwest Chicago, hello. I like Chicago. I've been a number of times. I have some friends that live in Chicago. It's a good city. How many subs did you need for a live stream? I think the number is 1,000 now. I think when it first came out, it was you needed 10,000 subscribers, but they've lowered it to 1,000. And I'm also doing this on my phone just because that was the easiest way to set it up. And I don't think that was always available. I think you needed a certain number of subscribers to be able to use it on your phone too. But I'm glad you liked the format. Hopefully this was the first of at least more than one. Seems like a lot of work. I'd rather lay on the couch. I mean, like I said, you only get so much time, so whatever makes you happy. Any plans to bolt the lathe down to the bench? Okay, Bolting it down to this bench, no. Uh, Bolting it down to something so it doesn't rock around as much, yes. And I think someone had mentioned at some point a torsion box is what they called it. It's basically you build like a platform out of wood and it has joists in it, almost like the way you would put a floor together. And the idea is that it resists twisting. And so my eventual plan, I was hoping to have it done already, but is to bolt the lathe to that and then also make drawers and stuff for it so I can, things like this that just kind of get thrown around on the bench, I can put in the drawer. And then maybe 3D print like a some kind of holder for the different drill bit sizes or whatever that fits in the drawer. I think that would be a cool way to tie lathe stuff and woodworking stuff and 3D printing stuff all together. And maybe if my buddy gets his woodworking stuff going, maybe we can do a collaboration video to kind of christen his new YouTube channel whenever that happens. So that's my plan for bolting it down. And then the other cool thing with that is it would still be portable, and I could make like a kind of like sewing machines have tops that you can put on them and then like clip them to the sides and then carry it as a whole thing. I could make a top for it that would, I could just, I don't know, it would keep it clean and keep it protected and make it portable, more portable than it is now, and also keep it from rocking around. So that's my ultimate goal for that. I'm glad you guys liked the live stream. I was nervous about it. I thought I would be sitting here talking to myself. Worst comes to worst, ohm out the sensor. Yeah, the bummer with that is I would need a new sensor to test it. So at that point, I might as well just put it in. I only have 22 subs. Well, hey, there's 38 people watching right now. Maybe you guys can go help Drifter's Workshop out. No, I just did it this morning and used what I had. Well, Robert, I'll have to look into that if it definitely helped. I was using a lathe, which was just a motor, whatever, cutting down. Mark, that's pretty funny. I mean, homebrew lathes work well enough, I guess. I do a way better job. I really appreciate that you guys say that I do a good job on these videos. I do photography as kind of a hobby, and every once in a while someone will pay me to take pictures of their wedding or whatever. But I've never really done any video stuff until this channel. And so I didn't know what to do. I got a new, I don't know if this is working, but I have this little lapel mic that I've been using for this. Sorry if me doing that was obnoxious sounding. So I've been slowly like getting the video stuff together to be able to do more videos, but I will say it's a lot harder than, or maybe not harder than photography, but it's definitely a lot more involved. Speaking of new hacksaw blades, I still have an extra. If you are verified, you can live stream without subs. I don't know, and I don't know what it means to get verified or how to get verified. I'm bolting my lathe to a DIY concrete countertop. That would be cool. I don't remember where I saw it, but I saw someone was selling, I think it was like a school auction or something. They were selling a one of those like foot thick marble slabs for precision measurements, like lab precision measurements. And I thought that would be very cool and very stable, but it would also probably weigh 1,000 pounds, and If I was gonna have a 1,000-pound lathe, I would just get a big lathe, I think. Noah taking a poop. I've watched YouTube on the toilet before, so I guess that's fair enough. Wow, look at all these safety glasses I have. So here's been kind of a box of miscellaneous lathe pieces. Here's that original safety switch that maybe I'll repurpose. A belt that doesn't fit, and then the plastic gears to change the speed of the feed screw. And then this, I never really used it. The little oiler that came with it. I don't even think it has a hole in the top, but it leaks. I don't know. I should just throw this away. It might be useful for that one time that I end up needing a disposable oil oiler. Surface plate, probably so. Perfect amount of comic relief. Good. I'm glad you guys enjoy it. I don't. So I have. There's these. This. That. And I got this. So really, if I ever get anything stuck in my eye, I don't have anyone to blame except for myself. Although some of these you can't even see out of anymore. So they'd be not so safety glasses. Huh, maybe I didn't realize they were that cheap. But I think they're still probably heavier than I would need. Oh, cool. So you can live stream if you're verified. Currently using a disc. Engage your safety squints. I thought that was so funny the first time I heard that. I still have a bunch of miscellaneous stuff over here, but I don't know that I'm going to quite get into that yet. So who on here doesn't throw away sandpaper? They just keep using it, keep saving it for the occasions that they need a little piece of slightly worn sandpaper. because I definitely do that. Hello to Brazil. Cool. You would like to see what's behind me? That's where I keep the wood lathe. We can do a little mini shop tour at the end. As long as you guys don't expect me to clean the rest of the shop. The next mod planned for the lathe. So I think the next thing on the lathe, for the lathe specifically, is probably going to be these carriage handles. Everything else has been pretty good so far. I don't think I've had too many other issues with stuff breaking. The headstock will get pretty hot. I don't know. It always has. And I don't know if that's cutting material and it's just the heat transfer is going through, or if the bearings aren't that great, or probably a combination. But maybe taper bearings at some point. Other than that, like I said, I think I'll just say the next thing is going to be this handle. Maybe get this working again, because this was nice to have. Yeah, I don't know about the grease in the bearings. I've never greased them myself. And I had used grease all over this in my teardown video. And, whoop, this might have to come sooner than I thought. It's pretty broken. Let's see. Let's do a live stream carriage handle repair video, or repair, just live stream repair. So this is just CA glue, and we'll see if it works. Watch it end up glued to the shaft now and not be able to come back off. I don't remember what I was saying. I think it was, oh, I greased everything using just regular grease. And then it was recommended that I use just oil instead of grease because it won't hold the chips as much. This doesn't seem to be working out. Alright, we'll let that sit for a bit, see if it does anything. Welcome back. Disulfide grease. So I've just been using this little oiler, and I think it's just 10W30-ish. And I can definitely tell when it needs oiling. And then oiling obviously helps. At least, I mean, with the controls and stuff, not the bearings. I think I'm going to straighten this back out too while I'm here. Well, maybe I'm not. So one thing that I do is I tighten these down unless I'm going to be using the compound slide, I tighten them down as much as I can to lock it in place, because there's a lot of slop in this compound slide, and so unless I really need it, it's just not worth using. Nope. Maybe I'm not going to straighten it out. I don't know where the Allen wrench went. Chris, I saw, I don't remember who it was that did that, but I did see another video where somebody drilled 2 holes right here and used them as lock screws, but this thing, it doesn't adjust very well anyway, so I just assume not even worry about it or really use it if I can avoid it. Steve Jordan, that's him. So if you guys haven't seen that, head over to his channel and check it out. It's a good idea. Oh my gosh. Alright, if it's not one of these, then I give up. Ha. I guess I needed to put a sticker on this side too. All right. You think this held? Oh yeah. And it still spins. So this is where that extra handle went. And this lets me loosen, and so right now the carriage is totally locked. Now it's unlocked. Well, except for that. So I think this was a pretty simple thing to do. I made it more complicated than it needed to be. Really, you just need a small piece of brass. And it helps a lot. Someone had commented on one of my older videos where I was making, or I was just trying to get that big 5-inch piece of aluminum mounted. And you can very clearly see that as I'm facing it, there's ridges from the outside all the way to the inside. And the reason for that is because the carriage doesn't stay in one place. And so as you're advancing the cross slide, you're pushing the handle one way and it's moving in a little, and then you're pulling it out. And so it's doing this all the way down. And this carriage lock helps keep it exactly in place. So my facing cuts have gotten a lot better and a lot smoother having since put this in. And there is a video for that I made, so if you're interested, check it out. I never know what a good way to clean these screws are. Almost sounds like something else is loose too. I really need a T-handle. Yes, I do. Maybe I'll put that on my Amazon wish list. I'm cooking dinner while streaming to a live stream to a hacked. I like it though. I was thinking about doing a project video of making a lasagna. Would anybody be interested in that? Cooking with Tim? I think it'd be tough to incorporate the mini lathe into that, but might be kind of, I don't know, kind of fun if you like lasagna. What do I do for a living? I am a software engineer. So I play on the internet all day. And then at night I come down here and I make chips. almost going to be a shame to use this again now that it's so clean. Although I think at the same time it'll be a pleasure to use it again now that it's so clean. Alright, I think that about does it. Does anybody else see anything that I missed? Embedded or more high-level stuff? So I'm a back-end software engineer, so mostly. So I spend my time on I guess the brains of all the website stuff that you guys see. Databases, that kind of thing. Lack of lube. Where? Oh, that does remind me. For better or worse, I like to use this silicone spray because these surfaces will get some surface rust on them. Ooh, here's a place. And this is more of a, it's not, what do they call it? Not dry grease, non-greasy formula. It just puts a coating on it so it doesn't get the surface rust on it. Oops. I guess Linux, if I had to choose. Most of the time I'm developing on a Mac. And then the servers are on Linux. Some flavor of Linux, usually. Run the half nut. I can do that real quick. Yeah, I wish my lathe was so easy. That's the benefit about these little lathes, is you can just throw them around. But that's also the downfall of these little lathes, is you can just throw them around. As for the digital readouts, I do have a digital readout for, I guess it's X and Z. I need to figure out how to put them on. I would like to put all the important bits behind here so they're not in the way up here. And then I also will have to come up with some way to hold the displays. But I think that would be much easier and much more reliable to use than these little tick marks, although I think these tick marks are surprisingly accurate. So yeah, I do need to do those. That will be a video as well. Let's see. 3D printing. Yeah, I can 3D print some things. I 3D printed this. The enclosure is holding up. Everything else is kind of not so much. Well, let's see if it still turns on after all that. Ooh. Who realized that this was going to fly out of there if I turned it on? Still rambling? Am I rambling? I thought we were just in the shop having fun. I guess this could use a little bit of oil in there. I thought about doing the digital caliper route, but the kit that I got wasn't very much more than a digital caliper, and it included all the things that I needed to put the digital readout on. So it was kind of a no-brainer. But the thing that I like about it is it has a remote display. That will give me a lot more options as to how I can mount the rest of the stuff. Whereas if I used a digital caliper, I would have to mount it in such a way that I could still see the display. And that was kind of the decision for not going with that. But let's see if this works. Making a little bit of gross noises, but I'm not sure what that is. I guess we'll find out when it breaks. What is my run out? Run out in what direction? What's popping? Have I checked? It's really nice to... Well, thanks. It's nice to talk to you guys in more real time. This has been cool. Straight cut gears make the noise, and they prefer grease. I haven't greased those gears in a while, so let's check them out. And if you guys haven't seen my first project yet, you can check out that video. Well, I guess first videoed project of these thumb screws. And found more chips back here. Let's see. The gears inside. So there are no gears in this headstock. Um, most of these are 2 speeds, and they have a shifter on the back, and they have a low speed and a high speed. This one is just a straight shaft going right through. Oh, put a piece of. So my run out is more than 0. I know for sure. Uh, and I don't know. Every time I've tried, so I'll eventually have a project coming up. It was the other reason why I bought this lathe. Um, I did the brake adapter, the GSXR brake adapter from that motorcycle project. That was the first reason. The second reason is I need a new custom axle. And so I have a piece of 4140 that I will be eventually turning into an axle, and it does have to be straight, and I should have enough room of I should have enough material there to be able to do some test passes and try to dial it in. And I don't know. I don't know if it's the tailstock is offset and that's what's giving me the run out or not. But I will say that when I did, um, actually, we can look real quick as soon as I can find it. Um, all right, so I don't know if this is readable. All right, so this is from the uh, this project, the tailstock die holder. And this is just, what is it hitting? I guess there's chips in here too. Anyway, this is from that project. So this is the tapered part for the Morse taper that goes back here. This is just a guide shaft, and it should be straight and should be the same size all the way around. So let's see. It's about 12.5 millimeters at the end, 12.4 in the middle, and 12.2 on this side. So I don't know. Oh, I had it too high. All right, let's measure that again. 12.5 here, 12.4, 12.3, 12.3, and this is about 100 millimeters of length. I don't know. I don't know if the headstock is not parallel with the bed, or I use the live center on this to suspend it. So I don't know if there was a little bit of offset there. For this project in particular, that was good enough. Um, Probably I want to get it a little bit straighter for the axle project if I can. If not, then I'll just have to, the parts where the bearings will sit, I'll make sure that those are right, and then everything else will be just enough to be able to get the bearings on. So I can make it work, but that's kind of not the greatest. Uh, let's see. Mine does not have the brushless motor. It's a brushed motor single speed, or brushed motor, variable speed, but single, no transmission. Um, Make a mini foundry, melt chips. Infinite stock. I like that idea. 3-jaw will always have a few thousandths run out. I wouldn't mind getting a 4-jaw chuck. I need to get a better dial indicator too. Drifter's Workshop, yes. Code Monkey, Hobby Machinist, and Death Machines. Robert, I think anytime you take something off the chuck and put it back on, you lose a little bit of precision. Um, but I don't know if there's a different way you could do that or not. But yeah, 4-jaw chuck for sure. My tailstock is likely misaligned. Chris, that's probably 100% true. Enable DRO. Yeah, we've talked about the DROs a little bit. I think it almost looks like the belt is rubbing back here a little bit. I might need to address that. Let me see if I can swing you guys around. So it looks like the belt might be ever so slightly hitting this silver housing. I might can cut this corner off or do something, but it's probably the new motor mount moved it out farther, and so now it's hitting. I don't know if that's how much of a problem that is. And then also, I'll say that the 2-speed lathes, the belt comes up to here and goes back down, and then it gets the transmission and the headstock. My belt goes all the way up, all the way around the spindle, and comes back down. So we'll throw some oil in here for fun too. Yeah, these gears aren't leave a lot to be desired, I guess. Just don't change directions. Shouldn't oil it. Well, it's too late now. And make new ones, new gears. Maybe with the mill, when I get a mill. I don't know. Still seems to work so far though, so I don't know if I want to ask too many questions. Shop tour? I was just gonna say, I think the this is about as clean as it's gonna get. It looks a lot smaller on a bench without anything else on it though. So yeah, and I guess my battery's about to die, so better do the shop tour sooner rather than later. All right, I'm gonna unplug the microphone and then say something. Let me know if you can't hear me. All right, can you guys still hear me? Anybody? Loud and clear. Good to hear. All right. Cool, cool, cool. I guess there must be a delay on this. Oh, all right. So here's the mini metal lathe. Here's the rest of the bench that didn't get cleaned. The wood lathe. Maybe I can do a cleaning the wood lathe live stream next. Sandblaster. Table saw. Radial arm saw. I don't know if you guys would be interested in any woodworking projects. The bandsaw. Here's a vintage refrigerator project that I need to get back to. The drill press. A lot of nuts and bolts. Oh. A bunch of tools that I need to now clean. Here's my motorcycle project. My 2x72. 2x72 what? Dirt bike project. Parts for the van. And it's dusty with a dead battery because it's been winter. But my death machine. Another bench. And oh, I need to build one. I need to build a sand, the 2x72. But this is Mustang project, and this is going to be the next lathe project. Here's the gas pedal, and this is the throttle, and so we need a thing that's going to go from here to here, and so when you step on the gas, it opens up the carburetor, and it's got to look good because look at how everything else, I mean, it's dusty, but it's all shiny, so got to make it match. So, all right, I think that's it. I think my battery's about to die. Thank you guys so much for watching lathe, and also I need to be able to sharpen these, so I think it might be handy, and then it would just be handy in general. So maybe with the mill, I'll be able to build one. But that's it. Lathe is clean, ready for the next project. Did a little mini shop tour. Gave you a sneak peek of what the next lathe project is going to be, I hope. So that video should be hopefully next week. Thank you, guys. Oh, what year is the Mustang? It's a 1966. Um, and yeah, thanks for joining. You guys have a good night, and I'm glad you enjoyed it. I think this worked out well, and hopefully I'll have time to do more of these. All right. Good night.